Hey guys, it's Moo. Right now, Kled is one of the best champs you can pick in the top lane. He's a strong laner with a great early to mid game with strong roams, insane engage potential, and he snowballs like crazy. With that being said, let's get into the guide, and there are timestamps below. Kled's passive is Skarl, the Cowardly Lizard. How this works is, Kled will begin the game mounted on Skarl. Kled and Skarl have separate health bars. Any bonus health from items will go towards Skarl's health bar and not Kled's. When Skarl's health bar depletes, Kled dismounts, granting him brief untargetability and cleansing all CC currently affecting him. While Kled is dismounted, he has less movement speed than mounted, and his auto attacks will deal 80% of the damage he would deal while mounted. However, he gains movement speed while running towards enemy champions and has extra attack range. Kled's resource bar is Courage. This bar will only come into effect when he is dismounted. Killing minions, champions you damage, dying and auto-attacking champions, epic monsters, and turrets will all grant you Courage. Once your Courage reaches 100, Skarl will return to the fight with 50 to 80% of his HP depending on level. If Kled is dismounted again within 30 seconds of him remounting, he will not be able to restore Courage until those 30 seconds have elapsed. Kled has two different Qs based on whether or not he is mounted. Let's start with the dismounted Q because it's the only ability that's different while he is dismounted. Kled's Q is Pocket Pistol. Kled shoots 5 pellets in a cone in front of him, causing him to dash in the opposite direction. Kled stores up 2 stacks of this ability and has a 3-second delay between stored casts. Each pellet that lands will grant Courage to Kled versus champions and epic monsters. This ability also allows you to go over terrain. Kled's mounted Q is Bear Trap on a rope. It deals damage in a line and will attach to the first enemy, champion, or monster hit. Once attached, the radius will slowly decrease until you pull back the enemy, slowing and dealing physical damage. This ability deals 50% extra damage to creeps and small monsters, so it's useful for clearing waves once the ability has a few points in it. Two interesting things about this ability is that while it is attached to an enemy, it will give true sight, meaning that invisibility champs will be seen. And when a champion goes untargetable, if they are still in range of the Q, it will not attach. Kled's W is Violent Tendencies. Kled's next 4 auto attacks will have bonus attack speed, and the 4th attack will deal maximum health bonus damage. This ability is not activatable, which means as soon as it is off cooldown it will be in effect. So you will be often using this ability against minions. The 4th auto attack will deal additional damage to structures and does not change if you are dismounted. Kled's E is Jousting. Kled dashes in a target direction, dealing damage and pulling minions and small monsters towards him. If you hit a champion with your E, a few things happen. First of all, you gain true sight of the enemy for 3 seconds, along with a 50% movement speed bonus for a second after the dash completes. Additionally, you will be granted the ability to dash through the enemy champion again, and the mark will remain even if the target is killed. A lot of the skill expression for Kled comes through this ability. First of all, it's a good idea to use this ability in conjunction with your Q, as it will guarantee you land it, as you will be dashing straight into your opponent. Your first Joust is not able to cross terrain, but the thing that most people don't expect is your second E can. So if you know that an enemy is looking to flash over a wall to get away from you, using your first dash to get the mark and then using your second dash can secure you a kill. You cannot use this ability while dismounted. Kled's R is Charge. Kled charges unstoppably towards a target location, gaining an increasing shield and movement speed over the duration of the charge. You will keep the shield for 2 seconds after the charge completes. Kled will collide with the first enemy champion in the path, and once locked in, it will follow the enemy regardless of the distance made before the collision. This will deal maximum health damage, which ramps up based on how long you travel, and will knock enemies back. You will also leave a trail from your charge that gives your team movement speed. This ability is great for engaging with your team, roaming, or escaping. An often underrated portion of this ability is the fact that you become unstoppable. So if you are about to be CC'd and need to escape, you can use this ability to do so. You should look for an opportunity to use this ability every time it's up. It's great for diving opponents with your jungler or roaming to other lanes that look like they can be killed. Be wary of where you target this ability because you cannot change where it is going once you have it locked in, so you could fly past your opponents if they juke in the correct direction. This ability is not usable while dismounted. Skill order for Kled is pretty straightforward for the most part. Q is the first ability maxed, followed by W and E last. taking the ability in your ultimate whenever available. Level 1 you always want to level up Q, but after that is where you can show a bit of skill on Kled. Since your W will activate as soon as you level it up, saving a skill point until you fight an enemy or playing very aggressive and saving your W for when you dismount is a great way to quickly regain courage and win a fight. For summoners on Kled, take Teleport Flash in top lane or Ignite Flash mid lane. There are two choices for runes on Kled. You can either go Press the Attack or Conqueror. Take Press the Attack when you are versus a squishy champion like Jace, and take Conqueror when you are versus a tanky champ like Sion. If you aren't sure, I would take Press the Attack, as it's quite useful for trying to kill squishy members from other lanes. After that you want to take Triumph, followed by the most part by a Legend Alacrity, although you can swap that with others in that tree if you prefer. And then choose between Coup de Grace or Last Stand. For your secondary tree, you can choose between Domination with Taste for Blood or Sudden Impact and Ravenous Hunter, or Resolve with Demolish and Bone Plating. Right now I've been preferring Resolve because Demolish is so good with the introduction of Turret Plating. The stats you want to take are Adaptive Damage in the first two trees and then your defensive stat of choice. 90% of the time your starting item should be Doran's Blade, as you want to play aggressive early on Kled. There are certain scenarios where you can start Doran's Shield, but in general take Doran's Blade. For your first two items, most of the time it will be Titanic Hydra and Black Cleaver in an order depending on your opponent. You can also buy components from these items before completing the full items, such as Tiamat and Phage. After this I will generally follow with a Guardian Angel or a Sterax, which are great items for Kled as it allows him to dive in, take a lot of damage, and possibly regain his courage to remount. If you're snowballing, you can get a lethality item like Yomu's or Duskblade, which makes your burst insane. For defensive items, you should usually go Randuin's versus AD and Adaptive Helm versus AP. Mothman Mordius and Bloodthirster can also be good situationally. Spear Shojin might be good on Kled, but I'll have to test it to be sure. This is more of a general tip rather than a Kled specific one, but at level 1 you want to wait in the bush and look to fight. This will work against most champions, but if you're against Darius or Fiora, probably don't. You'll want to play lane phase very aggressive. Look for lots of trades and all-ins when you can. You can use your ability to dismount and regain HP to allow you to get leads and play more aggressive. While dismounted, you will have to play very careful because you are very susceptible to ganks and getting one-shot, but building up courage for a remount all-in can often net you a kill. Diving on Kled is very good. You're able to drop the aggro of the tower when you dismount because you become untargetable. So call your jungler to come over or even just dive yourself. Kled is strongest early to mid game, falling off pretty hard late game. The later the game goes, the more difficult it becomes to one-shot anyone on the enemy team, and you will instantly get melted while dismounted. You'll want to try and build a lane advantage and then spread that advantage to other lanes by roaming with your ultimate. Remember to always look for something when your ultimate is up. It's a huge engage tool, and if you coordinate with your team you can pick off lots of enemies or even just face roll them. The most important part to playing Kled is play aggressive. You are the person that has to look for fights and plays and make things happen. If you're the type of player that likes to sit back and farm, Kled is not the champ for you. But if you're the type of player who wants to actively win the game for your team, Kled is one of your best choices. Thanks for watching my Kled guide. You can check out all of mine or Phelan's socials in the description below. And make sure to watch us compete in the UKLC beginning February 13th, where we will be playing teams like Fnatic and XL.